Hi friend, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting, and today I want to introduce to you the problem to the solution that, or the solution rather to the problem that I mentioned last week. When it comes to beam lights for Christmas light shows, whether they be residential or commercial, there are a few main problems with a lot of the models on the market. And there's a few things that have just bothered me because for the longest time, it makes it really difficult, especially if you're just getting started with DMX moving heads. It makes it really difficult to get started because there's a big learning curve to it. So today I want to shorten that learning curve and show you a fixture right here, the Dominar Beam, that we're going to be bringing here to the US with an importer to bring you guys the best beam light that we can possibly offer here in the US. Okay, so the problems, the things that have frustrated me for the longest time when I'm working in X-Lights, when I'm talking to people about getting moving beam lights there's a couple things, okay? The first thing is that a lot of the moving beam lights on the market are very heavy, okay? The most popular ones right now are the 380 watt waterproof beam lights, which I think are generally IP54 or 56, something around there. And these ones often are anywhere from 70 to about 100 pounds. They're very heavy, they're very bulky, they're very large. It can be kind of dangerous, honestly, to bring that up onto your roof. Okay, so we get the weight as a concern. If you're adding a dome for snow, or just for rain rather, or snow, then that adds additional weight, additional bulk, another thing you have to hoist up onto the roof, right? Another thing that really frustrates me with the moving heads on the market are the fact that there aren't good LED fixtures out there to be able to run a beam show. And the reason why this matters is twofold. One, a lot of times with these cheaper units that have a discharge lamp in them, the ballasts are really weak, and people note that that's a really common point of failure, either initially or just a year or two in. The other big issue is that it makes it a lot more complex to sequence. You now have to figure out and set up a sequence to strike it at the start of the night, turn that lamp on. If the lamp were to extinguish during your show, it would not be relamped on until the next day, etc. And so that's a real problem as well that really bothered me, because I don't want something that I recommend to people, like using a moving head in your show, to become a source of frustration. Okay? And the third reason why I really am frustrated and why I wanted to seek out a new beam moving light is that when you've got a lamp, it's going to go for maybe 1,000 hours, maybe 2,000 hours, typically not a lot more than that, okay? And those hours are counted not when the light's actually outputting from the fixture, but from the moment you strike that lamp until you douse it at the end of the night. And you do need to douse it because that makes your ballast last a lot longer with a discharge moving light, okay? And with this, you've got a 2,000 hour lamp. If you're running a Halloween show, a Christmas show, and maybe some other things in the middle, you run it every night, and before you know it, year 2 or year 3, you're replacing that lamp. Not only is it a hassle to replace, but it's going to cost you anywhere on the cheap end from like 70 bucks to 150 bucks per unit, and you're doing this every couple years, okay? So along with the fact that you're buying a light, you've got a rain dome and or snow dome to keep the water off it, to keep the unit protected. It's bulky, it's heavy, etc. And so that's why I went on a journey working with some manufacturers I know, because I work in the stage lighting industry, to bring you guys the Dominar Beam. The Dominar Beam answers all of these problems that we ran into before. It's LED based, IP65 rated, so it's dust proof and good for water jets. More on that in a minute. It is bright. It's a 300 watt LED fixture. It has a 1.2 degree beam angle. It has color wheel. It has gobos. It has a prism. It pans and tilts almost as fast, really stinking close to popular 200 watt beam fixtures. It's much faster than the waterproof 380 watt units. And it's priced pretty reasonably for what it is. Let's talk about that. So the biggest question I get from people when they hear, okay, we're putting out a beam light, we're bringing this to the industry, and we want to bring the best and easiest to use light possible. Well, this means that if you're comparing it to really inexpensive lights from pixel vendors or shop overseas, you're going to see there's a little bit of a price difference, okay? The Dominar Beam is going to retail at $18.99, but we're doing a pre-sale where it's going to be considerably less, okay? More on that in a second. So the advantages of the Dominar Beam are that it's lightweight, it doesn't use a lamp, but it's still bright and compatible and easy to sequence with. Not only that, but I'm providing an X-Lights file, a custom model so you don't have to figure out the DMX channels on your own. We're providing tutorials on how to use the light, how to sequence moving lights and X-Lights, and how to get the most out of your Dominar Beam. We're also providing effects presets so that you can drag and drop effects into your sequence to be able to quickly add effects to your Dominar beams, okay? As I mentioned before, some of the key features that really separate this is that 1.2 degree beam angle, okay? One of the top things I've heard from people is, and I've seen myself, is that when you're talking beam lights and you see other LED-based beam lights out on the market, you see people taking video of them, comparing them to lamps, a lot of times they fall short. That's because they often have a 3-degree beam or like a 5-degree beam angle, and for a beam fixture, that's pretty bright. As you can see from our footage here, this beam angle is tight. It is narrow, and that makes it appear brighter. If you think about the simple math, 1.2 as compared to 3 or 5 is considerably tighter, right? Even from 3, it's over 2 times the tightness, which means that light's more concentrated, you see it better. As mentioned before, the Dominar Beam has everything else that all the other units on the market has and a little more, okay? So it has, first of all, a nice bright light source, looks awesome in white, looks awesome in colors. It has fast pan and tilt. It has gobos, it has prisms, it has the colors, it has all of the features. It even has a frost if you would want to use that. It's got all the features you've come to expect. Completely waterproof, IP65, so it's good for water jets, and it's also rated for snow. It's not really rated for ice storms, so if you're in an area that gets those, let me know if you're interested. We can talk about doing a dome on them, but ultimately this is mostly for places that get snow, not a ton of ice, and places that are warmer, okay? As mentioned, it's IP65 rated. It's got IP plugs connected to it, so we've got DMX data with a waterproof plug, and we've got a cord coming in for power, which by default has an Edison connector. You could change that out with something waterproof if you desired, but I personally just went and used one of these socket boxes that are real popular for Christmas lights, and I recently had this unit on my house for about 2 months, okay? It got pooped on by birds, it got wet. One weekend, we had 7 inches of rain. I turned it on, let it go in the rain, let it go when it's not raining, etc. And I can tell you, this thing lives up to what it claims to. It's bright, it's fast, it's waterproof. As you can see, it's completely sealed, other than the IP-rated vents, similar to the vents on a bud box. The only place water gets in is right in here, these 2 vents, to keep it from pooling, and it then comes out through the center, through the pan tube, okay? And so what that means is that you do occasionally get a little bit of water in here. It makes a little bit of noise when it first moves, then it moves, the water dumps out, you're good to go, okay? Everything in this area is fully waterproof, so it doesn't mind getting wet, okay? On the mounting side, we have clamps on the bottom, okay? We also have a tilt lock. So when you go put this up on your roof, you tilt it. It doesn't move around on you, it doesn't tilt, so it's much safer to grab, okay? As I mentioned, clamps are on the bottom. They swivel down, and you can click them in. So if you're using truss, and we can get you some truss if you need it, boom. Nice and easy, already included in the cost. So as I mentioned, the Dominar Beam is going to retail for $18.99. And yes, I realize that this is a little bit higher than other units on the market. However, when you think about the long term, when you think about not needing to do maintenance, when you think about not having to change lamps, not having that excess heat from lamps, not having to deal with a dome, when you think about not having to strike the light, suddenly the advantages really come together and you can see why it's a great value. Not only that, but we're going to go at the link below and at learnchristmaslighting.com/Dominar. That's D-O-M-I-N-A-R, Dominar. We are going to go ahead and have a pre-sale, okay? It starts now and it's going to go to August 1st. Now, at the end of our pre-sale, we should have enough units ordered in order to make an order with the factory. If for any reason we don't, we'll cancel the orders, we'll refund all your money, but I really don't think that's going to happen based off of the interest I've gotten so far. So, if you're interested in this fixture, here are some action steps. First of all, if you have any questions, david@learnchristmaslighting.com, shoot me an email, we'll answer those questions. If you want to order, if you're ordering under 4, then you can go to the webpage that we talked about and you can order directly there. If you're going to order 4 or more, we can do a price break on those and there will be a contact on that page to be able to quote that out to you. And note, I'll even knock off the 3% credit card fee if you don't mind paying through QuickBooks payments. It's just a bank transfer. You enter the numbers on the bottom of a check, your bank account numbers. It goes to QuickBooks and then they send me that money, but there's no fee instead of 3% on a card, which, you know, when you're talking about multiple fixtures at $15.99 or a little bit under that, that 3% can really be a lot of money to help you buy more pixels. So, if that sounds good to you, if this looks interesting to you, let us know. Send me an email, go ahead and pre-order one, and we'll get that pre-order rolling. We're currently estimating about 8 weeks from when we pre-order on August 1st until we deliver to you. And so we'll make sure to have those to you by Halloween. Okay, if anything changes in that, of course, I'll keep you informed. I'll make sure you know what's going on. But as of right now, even with the shipping delays that are going on and the frustrations there, we're still seeing the ability to deliver these on time. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. And again, if you're interested in putting DMX moving heads into your display, you definitely want to take a look at the Dominar Beam. It's the first beam that we've designed and built and set up completely for the Christmas light industry. With that built-in X-Lights model, built-in effects, we want to make sure you have every tool you need to make this thing happen. So head to the pre-sale page, check it out at learnchristmaslighting.com/Dominar. You can purchase, you can ask questions, you can ask for a quote on multiples. We'll help you out with all of that. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email, david@learnchristmaslighting.com. We'll answer those right away. And you'll also see on the order page, road cases, truss, things like that. We can help you out. Thank you so much and have a great day.